All right, so we're finishing up. I think we have probably 2 sessions to go for the Michi's back checker strategy, and then we'll pick up the Mochi and Mark Olson masterclass book. So what we've been doing and what we'll do today and next time is we'll go through. Michi had a number of review problems, and so we'll go through those. I was just thinking, like, some of these it's interesting, relate directly to things that he taught, and just I think everyone here has seen that. I created a summary of these from the book. The initial stage, advanced stage, and so forth, completed stage, solo stage, butterfly stage, and a few other things. But he also provides some examples, and we'll go over some now that you have to sort of think beyond his book to get the right answer on. So let's take a look at this one. 2-1 to play. Black has a back game going. What are the first of all, to me there seems to be 2 obvious choices, and what do you think is best, and why?
Hi, Gary. I think it's got to be the 16-13, because if you make the 7 point, then you've only got 2 on each of the points. So what's your next roll? Well, you know what you're going to be able to do with your next roll.
Yeah. So here's one play is make the bar point, and that's a pretty strong play because you're blocking. You got like a 4 prime in front of Black's advanced anchor, and you're blocking the back anchor. So that's not a bad play, but you're leaving the blot here if you do that, and the alternative is really to come here. And so Nick's point is, here you're stripped everywhere basically, and so you may not be able to clear the back checker. But what happens if you? I mean, those are important points, but I think what happens if you get hit here?
Well, it's not disastrous because it'll take ages before he can close you out.
Yeah,
and he's not favored to hit anyway. So I'd make the bar point.
Yeah. It's not disastrous. Black is also stripped here, but there's a pretty strong board and a 3 prime broken 4 prime, and so there's certain risks there. So yeah, this is one. We'll look at the answer. This is one that Michi discusses without reference to really anything useful in his book. So I'm not sure what to make of it. His explanation is, we'll go to the completed stage, which is where you're here, and then you just play safely going forward. And he doesn't really, or maybe he doesn't, I just didn't understand it. Doesn't really give, I thought, a good explanation of why. But clearly there's some risk by leaving this blot here. There's you have direct 4s, there's a 6-5 that hits. And you're, Ray, as Ray pointed out, you're probably not too bad because Black is stripped here. Black has got a back game going, and it's a lot of work to bring these checkers out. In the midst of bringing them out, it's entirely possible to get hit again. And so it's not entirely clear here what is the best play, and certainly making the bar point is a strong play, just because, for what I've said before, blocking the back check, the back anchor, getting the 4 prime. So Again, I don't know what to make it. Part of it is maybe too is that, black does have the better board, so why put yourself subject to that? But again, I'm not sure. If you just read Michi's book and all the proverbs and things like that, I'm not sure that you could come up with this, and I'm not sure over the board whether I would know. I mean, the making the bar point is really tempting here. Okay. Well, another one. Yeah, so here's another one that's difficult. But and I think well, what do we see here? What's important here?
I pulled 2 off the 14 point. You're only leaving 6-2 as ahead.
Yeah.
On the other hand, we're behind in the race.
You've got to stop black escaping, basically.
Yeah.
Because you're so far behind in the race that you might.
Yeah, that's the key thing is we're down 18 pips, and after all, we're still down 14. So obviously, if black escapes or even pops out, we're in we have a problem. And so the question is, well, what do we do about that? Now we have a 4 prime here, which is good. We'd like to extend the 4 prime, preferably on the 9 point. Or even the 10 point isn't terrible, but the 9 point would be better, blocking it black 6s so he couldn't get out cleanly. But we can't do that. Now, typically, with the opponent has a single checker back, and he's what they call sees the daylight, meaning a 6 he can come out with a 6. Typically, what you're going to do is hit him, and so we could do that 6-3. And obviously, the problem with that is, well, black has a pretty decent board. It's a 4-point board. Now, it's not, it's not the best 4-point board. He's made the ace and the deuce point. So if you come in, you're going to come in on the 3 or the 5, and that's not terrible. The question is what to do about this. And again, this is another situation where, I looked, if you look over Michi's proverbs and things like this, I don't have an answer for this. I don't see anything that provides clear guidance in this. So
Gary,
yeah.
if you hit him 6-3, he's still only got 1 roll to come in, and he's got 2 blots over there. It's possible that he's going to retain at least 1 blot. You might go back in and hit him back over there.
Yeah. Well, yeah, that's a possibility, but it's one thing to have a blot out in the outfield here. It's another thing to have a direct shot at it. If it were a direct shot, that would be, certainly that would be better here. But even if he doesn't clear any of those, you need a 4 or a 3-5, a 3-4, 5-2-5, which is 8 shots. It's not not terrible, but well, probably he's going to clean up 1. So you're probably not going to get the 8 shots. You're probably going to get 4 shots if you get hit.
Gary, I quite like 6-3, 3-2.
Yeah.
So if you do get hit with the 2, he's still got to get,
right,
more than a 6 to come out.
Yeah, what Nick's talking about is coming here to hit and then coming up. And that way, if you do get hit with a 2 and he doesn't roll something like a 2-1 or a 2 double 2s, then you block the 6s. So that's certainly a stronger play.
But Gary, would you say that you don't want to hit because just in terms of general principles, playing 6-3 is a blitzing move, and you're behind in the race. You really want to be priming and not blitzing, and by playing 6-3, you've lost a checker over there. So, I
Yeah.
mean, if for me at least, general principles would dictate that you do not play
Yeah.
6-3, but
Yeah.
I don't know.
Well, I don't know that you're blitzing here, though.
No,
That may not be the right way to think about it, because now we do have 11 checkers in the zone, so you could blitz there, but black has a 4-point board. And so you gotta be cognizant of that. If you want to blitz, you're better off blitzing if your opponent doesn't have a strong board. Now you have the checkers in the zone to do it, but probably I would say your game plan here is priming.
Yeah.
That's your game
just
plan.
because the black has all the checkers in the zone because he's so far ahead in the race, and
Yeah.
you're behind in the race, so you want to be priming and not blitzing as a general.
Right, as a general idea, yeah, if you're behind in the race, priming is the better game plan.
Right.
So there's a lot of things going on here, and I don't think, again, nothing I've seen in Michi's book gives us the right answer. But and I would be tempted, my first thought of this was, okay, let's play, was this come up here?
Yeah,
The problem is we give him the 6-2, but on the other hand, if he rolls a 6-1, or I guess just a 6-1, or a 6-4, say, now we have a double shot against him. Problem is, if he rolls a 6 and something other than those numbers, he's in good shape. A 6-5 gets him out completely. 6-3 covers, and of course double 6 is just double 6 is bad anyway. It turns out, surprisingly, because I don't think I would ever make this move, is that you stack ugly. You're stacking the 4-point. And the idea is, okay, you're behind in the race, having this checker back here is a little more effective for black popping out, because then now you've blocked the 6-5, and any 6, black is forced to come out pretty much with any 6, because he's not going to want to wait around to, you've got now 4 builders to point on him, so he's not going to want to wait around to do that. So any 6 is coming out, or 1-5. Now you've got even the better double shot than before. And so that's better than coming in. And I was thinking display. So that's much better than doing that. But and then the hit. Do you hit? Well, in this case, the answer is no. And I think if you look at the next problem, we sort of get an idea of why. And this is actually Michi's explanation. So this is the same position, same role, but the answer is different. So what do you think the difference is, and why?
well, here I would hit because that's extending the prime on the same theory. That the purer play is to hit.
Yeah.
And you're meant to hit on the edge of a prime.
Yeah, well, that's and that's correct.
Yeah.
But it's and it makes sense. Hit off the edge of prime. Now you can extend your prime, or if you don't get hit back, you can at least cover the point. Which, even if you can't, if you get a 2, you extend the prime, or a 9 or a 10, you can extend the prime if you don't get hit, or you can at least make the point if black dances or doesn't come in and cover it. The answer that Michi gives, though, is that in this case, black gets out with a 5 or a 6, and that's what you're trying to do and contain. You want to contain black here.
Right.
In the previous position, black was here. He only gets out with a 6. And so that makes that a little less dangerous, because you are, hitting here, is a risky play, or a bold play in the parlance, just because of black's strong board. So, you only want to take the risk if there's, for doing that, if the risk of not doing that is greater. And so apparently giving black 2 outs to hop over the prime is enough additional risk that it's worth hitting when it wasn't worth hitting when black only had the 6 to pop out. So that's, that's an interesting play. I don't know. And as I said, I didn't see anything in Michi's book that would help answer that question. And so it's an odd thing to put in the review section, but it is an interesting position. And again, I don't know if I'd get either one of these right over the board, but I think, intuitively, when black is here, you've got to be more likely to hit. It's got to be more likely to be correct to hit loose there than when black is here. Not, and again, not at the edge of the prime, where he's got only the one, direct 6 to pop out. So anyway, these are interesting problems that are kind of difficult to cover. Okay, let's go with the next one. Yeah, and so here's another one that, Michi puts this in his review, but I didn't really find a good answer for this that is covered in his book. But so we're kind of left to, backgammon thinking and other ideas. And so what's our problem here? And what can we solve with this role?
Oh, but. Well, you could clear that checker on the 17 point, or you could go 24-13.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
just
So,
the way-
we've got 2 problems here. One is we have a blot here we need to clear, and the other is we have a blot here we need to clear.
Right.
And we can't do both, obviously. Sorry about that. So, which is a higher priority?
I think you have to go
Because
24-13.
there's only 2 on each of black's points in his home board. He's stripped there.
Yeah.
So I think you're better off moving the 17.
Okay. That's
So
what.
just place 17-6.
Yeah.
I think the advantage of 24-13 is that if you get missed, you at least have a chance of getting the other one out on the next roll, versus if you play 17-6 this roll.
Yeah.
It's going to be very hard in the future to, we're not going to get a better opportunity than this probably to get off the 24 point.
Yeah. Well, both are good. Those are both good observations. But yeah, and the answer is to safety the back one. And the reason is, okay, you're not under attack here yet. But black is going to bring checkers. Obviously, black is going to bring checkers down to either make another point in the outfield, make the bar point, or do something. And so now is a good time as any to run. Likely, this back checker is going to come out with a 6 something other than a 5 and be under pressure here. So if black brings down, a checker to here, this checker is likely subject to a double shot. And so, the answer is, okay, this is sort of like a pay now or pay later. Take the risk now while black has, black's got the direct 5s, but he doesn't have any other ammunition in there to either hit loose in the back or to take make a double shot on that, on your checker once it pops out. So, yeah, again, an interesting problem. And I don't think, I was just checking, I don't think there's no proverb here that helps you from Michi's books that I found that's helpful here. But again, but the good thing is, we identified the problem is that we got 2 blots. We can escape one of them. What's the better one to escape? and the answer, the answer is let's safety this one. Roberti mentioned sometimes do the harder thing first. And sometimes often that's right. This is harder to do, so do that first. And, take our chances that black won't get the 5. And even if black does get the 5 to hit, he's not going to have the checkers in the zone really to be that much of a threat, at least for the next couple of rolls anyway. Again, not an easy problem though. And Michi didn't help with his book. So,
the other point, Gary, is the race is so close that if he gets away with this, he's basically home free. So
certainly a big advantage. I mean, it's not you're down 2 or up 2. I'm sorry, you're down 2 now. You're up 9 in the race, so you've got you've kind of gotten a roll advantage. So that is helpful. But there's a lot of play here left, and probably the race is going to be turned probably by someone getting big double somewhere. And black is well set for 3s, 5s, or 6s will change the whole dynamic, and yellow's in the same spot too. Double 6s for yellow is going to win it. Okay. Yeah, and so here's another one that doesn't I didn't get much help on for in Michi's book. But what's the situation here, and what's the answer?
One.
I
Well,
think you don't want to make the 1 point is the important thing, right? Just so there's at least some chance of black entering low and, having to break the prime.
But if you make the 1 point, isn't there a possibility of crunch on the black side?
Oh, I meant, I don't know. I thought it would be more of a chance if we don't make the 1 point, right? But because he has one on the bar, but I could be wrong.
Yeah, well, what we're facing is 6 prime, so that's a pretty daunting task to face. And the only way that we get out of this is if black does crunch his board. And so if we're going to win this game, and the chances of winning this game aren't very good, but they do exist. So if we cover the ace point here, now we're letting black come in on a 4. And if we don't let black come in, if black doesn't come in, then we're going to crunch our board, and black will come in, and we may get a second checker back, and he may will eventually close us out, and it's pretty much an easy game from there. So the only way to win this game is for black to come in on the ace point, and then hopefully we've made our 4 point, or black crashes his board because he can't get out with a 3-something. And so that's what you have to play for here.
Wow.
And so this is the best play. You've kept all your spares behind the 4 point. So that's your best chance of making the 4 point. And that's not a very good chance. You need double 3s basically, or double 1s from there.
Yes, but being hit means we're going to get gammoned more.
That's
I would just give up this game and
well, that's the thing that I would like to know. How there's certain games where basically you're in such bad shape that the best you can do is try to avoid the gammon. And so and if you're in that situation, the best thing is, okay, make the ace point, let's give up. Hopefully he comes in the 4 and is forced to get around before we, leave a shot and he hits it. The problem is though, that, and so, and I don't really have a good sense of when that is here. Because this seemed to me like this could well be that type of case. Now, it's apparently not, but even here, we're only winning 9% of the time. Now, what's surprising to me here though is the gammons aren't that great. It's only 12% here. And if you play this one, say, you're only that your gammons are the same, 9.56%, and your wins are 7%. Here the gammons are 12%. So you're giving up 3% more gammons. I know I should have said they weren't the same, but it's not that much more in the way of gammons. Again, very hard to say this, to see this, but and again, the idea of do we want to save gammons? Now, obviously, if this is DMP, let's call it so let's hope it's obvious. That's interesting. Then playing a 5. Not even much of a blunder. I guess these are blunders down here. Recovering. Well, I don't know. I didn't look at that before, but this now becomes the best player, although this is the same. That's a weird play. Oh, I understand. Okay. The idea here is to actually, it's not as bad to get the second checker back. You're in such bad shape that you don't care about the gammons. So you may be better off just getting the second checker back and trying to hit him loose and keeping your structure as much as you can in place. Anyway. Yeah, but again, the main idea here is that in order to win this, black has to come really in on the ace point. You've got to make the prime, or at least keep the prime enough so that black gets trapped and is forced to crash his board, or to at least, if not crash the board, at least create a gap of some sort. But you're in a pretty desperate situation. And again, there wasn't anything in Michi's book that I found that really explained this very well. All right, so now we're back to this one. Actually, there are things that Michi helps explain. And so now, okay, now what do we have? So this is should be easier. What now? Michi's has given this position a name, and what is it, and what? So the first thing is identify. Okay, this is a stage for Michi. What stage are we in, and what do we do about it?
Butterfly stage.
Yeah, very good, Les. Butterfly stage. So what's unique about the butterfly stage?
Go.
You want to fly, yeah. When do you fly? And so what are the criteria? Well, this one, now, we might as well bring this up. Michi talked a lot about flying and when to fly or not fly. And he threw a lot of different ideas in. So let's just review it. So you're going to leave the anchor if, okay, you have a safe landing point. Well, let's look at these 6-3. We actually do have a safe landing point there with the 6-3. So that's nice. If you've completed the fort, okay, completing the fort means that you basically developed everything that you can in front of your opponent's back checkers. So here we've got a 5'. So that's a pretty good fort. Not quite as good as a 6', not quite as good as if black were on the ace point and we're blocked completely, but it's still a 5' is nothing to sneeze at. So I could say we've completed the fort. 0 or 1 outfield spares, yeah. So here, no spares here, there's a spare here, so we're kind of at 0 or 1 here. Give a direct shot, otherwise, I guess we don't really, that doesn't apply. We could, we could come down here from the midpoint. Or even, go 10 to 1 if we wanted to. So that doesn't apply there. Ahead and race by 7 pips or more, and no offensive play. Here we're down by 7. After the roll, we're up by 3. So ahead. So we're not ahead by 7. So that doesn't help. And no offensive play. That's correct. We don't have an offensive play. So, we've got a couple of things here. We got a safe landing. We completed the fort. We have no spares. Those tend to, they'll say, run. Okay, you're going to hold the anchor. If what? Well, the board's not developed. Well, our board is pretty well developed. It's not going to get much better than that. And that's a pretty good board, 4-point board and a 5'. You'd put 2 checkers in danger. Well, we know we have the safe landing here. We're only going to put 1. And opponent is running, or opponent has finished his escape. Well, opponent hasn't finished his escape. So, here's one, where we've got all these criteria to look at, and it should be pretty clear after this. So what, given what we just went over, what's going to be the right answer? I-
22 to 13.
Yeah. Well, I was going to say maybe it was next, but yeah, none of these things are true. The hold the anchor condition, none are true. We have a developed board. We're not going to put 2 in danger. Opponent isn't running. The opponent's still stuck back there. So none of those tell you to stay. Here, we've got a safe landing point. We've completed the fort, and we've got no spares. Those are 3 things that tell you to run. Now we don't, and we're not going to give a direct shot otherwise. So that doesn't really cover. We're not ahead in the race, and generally, if you're not ahead in the race, you don't break your anchor. But unless it's the butterfly anchor, and no offensive play. Well, we don't have an offensive play, but that's because we've completed the fort. So, this one is, run. Yeah, which is, this is one, and this is one case where, these things are very helpful because it's awfully hard to run here. He's got 3 spares pointing on you, and it's easy to imagine a sequence where he makes the he points on you, and then he closes you out, and then he gets a 6 and hits this checker here, and it's easy to imagine things going very badly here. But that's part of Michi's point, is that this is a butterfly anchor. This is what you have to do with the butterfly anchor, and this is actually as scary as it looks. You've got your 62 to win with 18% gammons.
But Gary, couldn't you look at this in a different way, that as opposed to looking at it as a butterfly anchor issue, it's really a prime versus prime issue, and you're ahead in the race, so your timing is worse, and you have to escape, because otherwise, you're going to crunch before your opponent's going to crunch because he has better timing. So
Yeah.
by playing 22-13, you're improving your timing by putting an extra spare on the 13th point.
Yeah.
I mean,
That- well,
that's the way I
that's-
would look at it, as opposed to some,
Yeah. That's sort of true. Yeah.
Mm.
But the counter to that again is black can attack here, and black is going to attack and hit loose, and that's what you have. But those are good points, but I would think prime versus prime are tough anyway. And so I think looking at this from the butterfly anchor perspective, I think is actually helpful. Then you can go through that list of things. And those, that gives you a much clearer indication of what to do here. Prime versus primes are pretty tough on these. And and maybe someone has some criterion on prime versus when to break and when not to, but I don't know of them. All right. We got a couple more, so I might as well finish these up. Okay, so here we've got another butterfly anchor. So why don't we go through the criteria again? That's the best way. Um, 6-3 to play. Do we have a safe landing point?
Mm.
And yeah, we do for that, to break it, yeah. So that's one point in favor. Completed the fort.
Not really.
Well, not really. Yeah, not really. We've got a 3 prime, which is not bad, but we do have this blot here. 0-1 outfield spares. Yeah, now so here this could be a little misleading in that doesn't look like we have a spares. You might call this a spare, but in a sense, these checkers here are sort of spares because we can play them. We can play them. Okay, we're not going to complete the fort. We're not going to do any of that stuff. But again, black has the advanced anchor, so we couldn't do that anyway. It'd be very hard to put any sort of block that's going to last in front of the the 5-point anchor. Give a direct shot. Otherwise, well, we're going to give a direct shot if we do. So we're not giving a direct shot otherwise. We're ahead in the race. We're not ahead in the race. It's even. We'll be a little bit up after the roll, but not much. No offensive play. Yeah, we don't have an offensive play here. So, but we hold the anchor, board not developed. And so that's true, but we're also not going to develop a board. So if we put 2 checkers in danger, well, in this case, we do. We can come out here. We're going to put that in danger, and we still have we haven't touched this one. Maybe maybe the other play here is, do we make the bar point? So there's an offensive play that we could make. We do give up the direct shot on the ace, and we give up the 6-2, 6-2 and 5-3. Opponent should runish, not finish the escape. No. We put 2 checkers in danger. No, we're only going to put in 1. So so this is a tricky one. I don't get a clear answer here, I don't think. We do have the safe landing point. That's probably the biggest one. We don't have a fort. We're not going to get a fort. We have spares. If you view them here, so that sort of argues against running. So what's the answer? When anyone has any thoughts on this?
I would come down with 2.
Oh, down with 2. Okay, I didn't think of that one. 16. Yeah, slot the bar and make the 10.
Yeah, that would be my.
Yeah, that's an interesting point. Yeah, that's got to be better than making the bar and leaving the midpoint there. That just gives it just a direct 2. Also, you're placing your blot in front, only in front of the anchor, the strip point. So if black does hit, there's you can always hit back. It's going to be easier to hit back with any of those numbers.
I think it's easier for white to make points in its home board rather than black. And so I'm tempted to do 10-4, 6-3. in order to try and get more points in the home board.
Yeah. Yeah, well, that's the spares argument, is that we have, we have spares here that we can break. The tens, the nines, or even the eights, which will give us more time, and maybe we can hit white. So yeah, maybe making the point, that what did you say, 10, 4, 6, 3,
Yeah,
something like that. Yeah. So actually, I don't remember what the answer was here. I think it was, it was to run.
yeah, it is to run. Okay.
Wow.
Or at least mine was second.
Wow.
Yeah. And this was third, yeah. Yeah, these are tough. And I think I looked at this one. So here the difference is that black is way ahead in the race. And so that makes a big difference. One of the things that Michi talked about, but never really made it into a big enough point, was the race here. And in general, if you're way behind in the race, you want to stay back. And he sort of mentions that a little bit, but he never made a big deal of it. So, in this case, the race has a big impact here.
Yeah.
But again, this is a difficult one to make. And, I'm not sure that even going through the criteria that it was clear. The other one I thought was a little bit clearer, that, okay, that's a better run. This one, not so much. All right, that's enough of that for today.